All right, I'm about to watch a horror short called Dead Grandma. All right. Now, context. I watch a horror movie every single night. Last night I watched a movie called The Empty Man. And how I got to The Empty Man is that I am at this point really scraping the barrel because I've watched all the contemporary horror movies. I've watched most of the classic horror movies, although I'm not going to lie, I am not a movie purist who is like, oh, you gotta watch everything from the 1950s all the way to now to really understand the catalog. That's not true in my opinion. Things evolve, things get better. The technology has gotten much better. In some ways, the music still works. I love the old Wicker Man, for instance, but like, no, I don't actually have to go watch all the horror movies from the last 60 years up to today. I can watch the ones from the last 20 years and see some perfectly good horror. And so that's what I do every single night. I've started rerunning old stuff that used to scare me because I'm looking to be genuinely scared. I'm looking to have my attention wrapped. There are some things that I love about horror, okay? One is in a time when we are so inundated with information and with blinking lights and voices and faces trying to grab our attention, there's something genuinely scarce and valuable for me as somebody who can have a fairly a brain that looks like a disco ball, that's like always moving around and jumping and being distracted by new ideas and new stimulus. There's something very peaceful and something very calming and soothing about the sort of low hum of tension that lives in a horror movie at all times, where the stakes are clear, which are life and death, and where you have to be paying such close attention so as not to miss the 3 or 4 moments that matter so much in a horror movie, which are those moments that genuinely scare you. If you move your attention away from that tension, right? If you move your attention away from that tension, then you don't get the same full thrill, the same full ride of the scare when it comes. And so horror is one of the few mediums on earth, including just talking to another person, that can truly capture my attention for more than a few minutes at this point. And so it's something that's very soothing for me. It helps me like get ready to go to bed. I also watched a lot of horror movies, fewer probably now than I wish I had, with my sister growing up. My older sister is a big horror fan. She's who got me into the genre. And there was something fun about the combined experience of us two kids sitting in a room watching something scary. There's like an almost hand-holding tension. There's like that feeling of like, we're going through this together. Now, I also will say this. I am a big scaredy cat. I don't even like to stay in a hotel room by myself. And I have a big old German Shepherd dog, which is how I'm allowed to watch these horror movies every night. Because if I didn't, I would not be able to sleep at night after watching the things that I watch every single night. I think there's even something cozy that I enjoy about that, is the fact that in the same way that sometimes it's nice to sleep with the air conditioning on because it makes you appreciate your covers and get all snuggly and warm in there. I feel the same way about my big Doge, my doggy right here, which is that because she's there, I know I have a security guard. I know somebody's watching. Someone not scary is watching over me while I'm sleeping. I know somebody is there. If the monster does jump through the window into the room, it's not a one-on-one with me and the monster. It's a 2-on-1 with me and Penny versus the monster. So there's something that's even just sort of like there's like some caveman prehistoric like connection that I feel with my dog when I watch the horror movies, all right? Because people are always like, why do you like to watch this stuff if it makes you afraid? And the whole point is that it makes me afraid, so I can appreciate the distance between what my actual life is, which is generally safe. I live in the United States, so I mean it is what it is. It's questionable, but generally safe compared to someone who is running from an undead ghost zombie in the movie It Follows, right? That person is in grave danger. That knowing that they're going through that and I'm actually not, that also kind of feels pretty good. So Here we go. Dead Grandma. Let us begin. The title is, I already like before clicking that it's 90 seconds long. If you're going to give me a horror short, if you're going to give me a short of any kind, give me something that's actually short. Don't make something 20 minutes long and call it a short. That's not a short. That's a chore. Don't do that. Here we go. All right, opening shot. Some of y'all know I'm a screenwriter, TV writer. Opening shot's very important. The opening shot is in fact a dead grandma. Here she is laying on the floor. She's looking at us through her cold dead eyes, like her eyes are straight to the lens. This is a very
Hello, you've reached Pauline Chalmers. I can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll call you right back. Hi, Mom. Just hoping to catch you before our retreat starts.
Slow zoom
we'll be
out.
off the grid, so you won't be able to reach us, but thank you so much again for...
Uh-oh, Grandma's in what looks like a kiddies room because there's toys on the ground and also some interesting print contrasting decisions. These horror shorts, you can always tell they're shorts. You can always tell they're indie because something about the lighting is just not perfectly crisp, which I don't mind so much, but it does tell you that it's not like a big budget thing or even a thing with a small budget that like a high level professional has done. That's okay. Come on.
Watching Hunter and have fun while we're gone. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
It just got real bad. We're at the 50-second mark. There's a playing baby in the room with Grandma, which means it could mean anything. And that's the tension. That's the beauty of watching this sort of thing. It could mean, number one, it could mean Grandma's not dead. I watch a lot of horror, so here we go. It could mean Grandma is not actually even there, right? This could be ghost Grandma. We could be looking at a non-grandma right here, but that the baby can't even see. It could mean that the baby killed Grandma. Now, Grandma has no signs of, injury. She has no signs of like a stabbing, a shooting of any kind. She doesn't have any like visible lacerations or wounds. And so what I'm expecting is that Grandma possibly either became possessed and was then left for dead by a phantom, or maybe she fell. I don't know, because this baby is probably looking like not yet even 2. I'm guessing this is like we're looking at a 18-month-old here. I have 3 nephews, so I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing the age of a child or infant. And I would say even at 18 months, this little chunky baby right here would be checking out Grandma to figure out what's going on with Grandma, that she's just laying here and not talking to me, not making any noise, not feeding me, not giving me attention, not giving me what I want. And so this 50-second mark here is like, this is where we are at peak confusion about Grandma's state and the state of chunky baby in the room.
Okay, love you. Bye!
Disappointment. Did I miss something? Nothing was revealed. We don't know how Grandma died. I wasn't even, but this is my issue too, is I wasn't even listening to what these people, what did they say? Hold on.
Have fun while we're gone. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, love you. Bye.
Oh, hell. Okay, well, that's not good. So they left Grandma at home with the chunky baby. Grandma's dead. Baby's now not gonna make it. Baby can't survive at that age. That baby needs food and water. Okay, was this a movie? This is important, all right, because this comes up. I look at a lot of bad art, more than I want to, less than I probably am expected to, given how much it's sent and submitted to me. And I'm going to tell you what makes it bad, right? It's not bad because Chad doesn't enjoy it. It's not bad because it's not bad because it has actors I don't like in it, or I don't feel like the story came together, etc., etc. I think it's bad when someone bails before they finish executing what it is that they meant to say with their art. I think I understand what was said here, which is, in so many words, something terrible happened to grandma. We don't know what's going to happen next. We can imagine it's doom for this baby. Maybe grandma herself is the bad guy. Maybe she's going to do something bad to the baby. Maybe the baby itself is the bad guy, but it doesn't seem like the case. And maybe there's a spirit or something in the house that's going to do something bad to the baby. But it's okay to point with your writing. It's okay to point with your art to make a suggestion that then the watcher, the reader, the audience then has to go make the final case. You know, they then have to go project their own thoughts onto what you want it to mean. But I personally believe you gotta say what you're saying at least enough to be clear before you leave the last step to the audience. And this did not make that fit. This did not reach that place. This did not say, you know, give me something else, a shadow, a glimmer in the window, or in the mirror. Like, give me something so that me and the rest of the audience can have the combined experience of saying, uh-oh, oh no, there it is, or it's coming, or some better understanding of what actually is happening here than something else. I feel disappointed by what I just watched. I thought it had a promising setup. I thought there was even more zoom out to reveal more ingredients that might have finally shown us what was actually going on here. Would have been more promising, would have been a more complete meal. I think this person got the assignment of making a short in their mind, something they were inspired by, and they thought that meant that was the same as meaning a non-complete story. Maybe that's the thing to say here, which is that a lot of people, I get a lot of questions about how to make content, how to make a book, how to make a movie, how to make TV shows. And when I say make them, I mean write them, presumably, primarily. And the thing about it is that, like, what is the word? Concentric circles. Every one of those projects is concentric circles, like circles around circles around circles around circles. Every single little circle that comprises a book, a movie, a TV show, a song, a podcast, a short film, every single scene is its own story with beginning, middle, and end. And so what you're doing is you're stacking story on top of story on top of story on top of story. And the best writers are the ones who can make all of those things connected by a tapestry, because in real life, it's all connected. And all we're trying to do here is like mirror real life with our own imaginations and eyeballs. And so a full story, this is the hardest thing, because people, I've been coached to try to give people like a technical answer as to when a story is finished, because that will help people become better storytellers. A technical answer is when the tension is resolved, right? A technical answer for when the story's over is when you get to that big, that's the tension, and then you get to that, there it is, the surprising, inevitable, relieving finality of the thing. Even if it's not something that makes you happy, there's relief because you're like, at least the tension was resolved. But in earnest, when you're writing, that feeling of completion is a feeling more than anything, because while you're writing, or while you're consuming writing, if you're really in it, the tension actually is restricting your breath. It actually is, making you and then the relief, the finality is actually that release. There was no release here because, one, the tension didn't build up high enough at the beginning with the dead grandma. We don't know the grandma. We don't care about the grandma. What we did start to care about was the baby, but then there was no relief. The relief would have been knowing with some certainty either this baby is doomed because look, there's the thing, it's going to get the baby, or it would have been to know, oh, the baby's going to escape. Either way, doom or victory is relief. So this is not a complete story. I find that we as artists, creatives, so many people want to jump ship before we resolve the story because we are two things. We are both at the same time so enamored by the tension that we have built that we don't want to release it because we feel so proud, so excited about wow, we made someone feel something, that we don't want to finish the meal for them. But the second is because it is actually, building tension is easy, all right? We are almost naturally bent towards building tension. To start a car, you gotta have build tension. To properly correct your dog on a walk, you gotta build tension. There is a tension in our relationships with other people that is innately there. But to resolve tension is difficult. To resolve tension, you have to address the most core disease that is creating the tension. And usually we don't want to deal with those things. To fix the tension in a relationship, that relationship might have to end sometimes. We suck at that. To fix the tension in your job situation, you might either have to quit or confront your boss. We suck at that. We are really good at holding tension, but not releasing it, not relieving it, resolving it, which is why I often bail on so many movies right after the final conflict, because I can start to feel the author of the thing. It's like they've done so much to get to this moment. It's like how people, when they sleep together and then afterward, especially when people don't know each other well and they get awkward and they get embarrassed and we get self-conscious because we're like, wow, what a roller coaster, what a euphoria. And now it's like, how do we dismount here, so to speak? And we're not good at that. And this movie was not good at that. What's the resolution for that? Now I need to have look at me. Look, I never know how to end these videos. This is a perfect example. And so what's a good answer here? Excuse me. I don't know. What's a good answer here? I think a good answer is to make a choice. Shoot your shot. If a monster killed the baby, show us the monster. If grandma killed herself, tell us that. Don't ghost us as the audience. Don't do an Irish goodbye on us as the audience. Make a choice. Make an ending. Goodbye.